So today's the day, and I have to go back to work. My maternity leave is over. I will be going back to work. And I'm so sad. I've already cried a bunch of times, even though I know this day was coming. But I just wanted to share that even though you may have been praying for something for a long time and believing God to make a way, when He doesn't do it when you want to do it, He is still good. He's still holy. He's still sovereign. He's still going to answer your prayers. It just not be in your timing. You know, when I reflect back on my pregnancy and I reflect back on my whole maternity leave, there were specific prayers that I prayed through my pregnancy. I prayed to carry my baby to full term. I carried her to full term. I prayed to have an unmedicated birth. I had an unmedicated birth. I prayed for God to allow us to upgrade our family car so we could fit all of us. We got a new car. I prayed for me to be able to take 2 weeks off before I had my daughter. I was able to take the 2 weeks off. I prayed that God would give her wisdom from the womb, that she would latch immediately because my son was a horrible latcher and we had such a hard time and I didn't want to have that with her. I prayed that I would be able to make enough breast milk for her. I've been able to make enough breast milk for her. I prayed so many prayers throughout my pregnancy that He would strengthen me and keep me working and just like all the things, and God was faithful and He answered every single prayer. I prayed that she would have stable sugars because I had gestational diabetes and she had a couple low sugars, but she never had to go to the NICU or anything like that. Why are you trying to sit up, girl? Sit back. You're only 3 months. So yeah, God answered all of my prayers, but obviously this one big prayer that I wanted, the ability to not be able to go back to work, has not been answered. And that's okay, because maybe God is still shaping my character here at this job. I don't know. Or maybe there's something He still wants me to gain with still working. But I just want to remind you that when you're having a hard time in your faith, when you're having a hard time because you're disappointed or, you're frustrated with God for not answering the specific prayer that you really, really, really wanted, it's a really good habit to cultivate, to just reflect back on all the times He did come through for you, all the times He did answer those prayers. Because as humans, it's easy for us to forget, right? Even the Israelites, God delivered them from Egypt. While they were on their journey, they started complaining about not having meat and this and that, and they just forgot that this is the same God who parted the Red Sea. This is the same God who gave you a cloud by day and the fire by night. So God is able. He can do exceedingly abundantly more than you could ever ask for or imagine. And sometimes that's just not in the form of what you actually prayed for, and that's okay, because He's still God, because it says he can do exceedingly abundantly all that you could ever ask for or imagine through the power that is already within us. So I'm just focusing my thoughts as I'm trying to not be emotional about having to go back to work, that God will do what He is able to do. This is a light thing for Him to do. It may not be when I want Him to do it, but eventually I will be able to stay full-time home with my babies. And I also have to take accountability for what I haven't done right. I am asking God to be able to stay home with my children, but I still haven't done, I'm still inconsistent with posting. I'm still inconsistent with all the other things that God tells me to do and nudge me to do in the area of entrepreneurship. I'm still working with Him to overcome the fear of failure and the fear of man and, the fear of just not working out because it hasn't worked out in the past, and overcoming my doubt and overcoming my unbelief. Like, there's so many different ways where God still has to, prune me and develop me, that I really can't be upset because I also didn't like really apply myself. And you know, faith without works is dead also. So I hope that encourages somebody, because sometimes you have to learn how to encourage yourself in the Lord. I think it was David, when David came home from the war in 1 Samuel, I think it was, and he, you know, he found out his whole village was destroyed, his wives and his daughters, everybody's wives and daughters were taken captive. He took time to encourage himself in the Lord while everybody else was blaming him, while everybody else was saying, oh, we're going to kill you, and whatever else they were saying, blaming him for what happened. He took the time to encourage himself in the Lord, and then God gave him a command to move forward. He encouraged himself, and then he asked God if he should, you know, go after the people that took his whole village and families and whatnot. And God said, go forth and you will recover all. So I am believing that I'm going to go forth and in due season, as I continue to stay steady in my faith and continue to allow God to work on these things in my heart. So yeah, in due season, I will recover all, and God will make it make sense. It's one thing I know is that when something doesn't make sense, eventually, you know, whether it's 6 months from now or a year from now, I'll be thanking God, oh, you know, I'm happy that you didn't let me do that, or I'm happy that we did things this way, or this is why we did it. Like, you know, like, God's not cruel. He's gonna tell you eventually. Just gotta trust him. You know, it's not easy, but we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, and that's including learning to trust him even when things don't go our way. Right, Moo? Right? So yeah, I'm gonna get some rest before I have to work tonight, and I pray that you have a blessed day, and I pray that this blesses you.